Hi guys, welcome to a video. It's Tuesday and this Tuesday I just wanted to talk to you guys about vintage lesbian cinema because I enjoy it so much. I think they're interesting to watch because they're often windows to the past, and it's interesting to see how lesbians were perceived at the time. So the first film I wanted to talk about is quite well known. It's called Mädchen in Uniform. Essentially it was a book turned into a film, and there's two versions, one from the 1930s and one from the 1950s. And they're both great vintage classics. They were also both directed by women, which is really cool. It's about this young girl called Manuela who goes to this school and she gets attached to her teacher, Fraulein von Bernberg, and there's even a kiss scene in both versions. The original version was almost banned in the US, but they ended up showing a limited run of it because Eleanor Roosevelt liked the film. The next film I wanted to talk about is a film called Olivia. It's from the 1950s. This film is also based on a book. It is one of my favourite books. It's not too different from Mädchen in Uniform in the way that an English schoolgirl arrives at this school in France and again develops a crush on one of her teachers, Mademoiselle Julie. There's a lot of high drama and love confession. Vintage lesbian cinema, it has a theme. The next film I wanted to talk about is called The Fox. This film was made in the 1960s. It is also based upon a book. It's about these two women, Jill and Ellen, who live on this farm together. And Jill is very comfortable with their life, but Ellen is a bit restless. To cut a long story short, these women live an isolated kind of life, and then this man comes along and he kind of seduces Ellen, and Jill's not happy about it, and then there's just all this kind of other stuff and all these other themes going on. It has a super unhappy ending. I'm not sure if the author of the book and the director of the film, who are two separate men, were kind of pro-women and pro-lesbian, or if they were anti. I'm not really sure what they were kind of trying to go with. It wasn't clear, but I guess for its time, yeah. The fourth film is Daughters of Darkness. This film was made in the 1970s. Now, this film is a horror film, so it definitely has an unhappy ending. That being said, the female protagonist does survive, but also doesn't survive. It's weird. In a nutshell, this couple arrive at this hotel in Belgium and they're kind of isolated. They're the only ones at the hotel, and then this Hungarian countess, she arrives and there's something a bit off about her. And there's also murders that have been happening. It kind of all links up. The Countess becomes obsessed with this newlywed couple, and then a lot of sex and death ensues. My two kinks. It's very almost ambient, a very weird kind of European 70s erotic. You get the picture. And finally, this film is called The Hunger. It's from the 1980s. The Hunger is based around David Bowie's character aging, and he thought he was going to be immortally young forever. He's been turned into a vampire by this vampire called Miriam, and he seeks out scientists to try and, you know, figure out how to reverse process. And similar to Daughters of Darkness, the female protagonist has a lesbian encounter and doesn't really survive, but also survives. David Bowie, lesbians and vampires. What's not to like? Okay guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe for instant disappointment, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!